It's on. Okay. I ain't getting no countdown. Look, I'm a former athlete. I need that shot clock with 5, 4, 3. We Shabbat Shalom. We are here in Corinth, Mississippi, getting back in routine with our fellowship. What we call tri-state fellowship. So we 2 out of 3 right now. We're 66%. We need that. We need some Mississippi people in here. So but we had one coming, and just things happen. So next week, yeah, that's right. So maybe next week say, well, you know what? We do have. I guess we do have one. We got one. We got one. All the way from Blue Mountain, Mississippi. From the mountains. That's what the indigenous people say. The Most High sits up in the mountain place. You gotta go up to the mountain to go have a conversation with him. But as we always say, Shabbat Shalom to the scattered, to the tribes of Israel. We always say that because it's in the first James chapter 1 verse 1, to the scattered. So we want to make sure that we always address all of the house of Israel, the body of Christ that is scattered. And as we also say, last but not least, to those that are heartbroken, to those that are poor, to those that are in whatever scenario that they're living, that they feel like there's no way out. Peace and shalom to you. That is the power of the gospel that can bring you out of your pit, that can bring you out of your situation, can bring you out of your condition. That there is nothing that Yah's hand cannot do. There's nothing that, I think as it was taught this morning, that Yahshua has not experienced, that he has not dealt with. So that there is a way for you. There is a way for you to get access to freedom. But sometimes we get comfortable in sorrow and we don't want freedom. That's what the truth hurts, because it separates you from sorrow. It separates you from something you have adjusted yourselves to. All right, we adjust our minds to places that we probably should not be. And then when the truth comes, the teacher tells us it's like a sword, and it brings division within the house, right? Between the mother and the son-in-law, and the father and the daughter-in-law, and the mother and the son and the brother, and he brings division because the truth lets you know you don't have to think that way. You don't have to live that way. But as we always say, last and least, to those who are poor, who are famished, who are hurting, this word is for you. So that being said, we are now on part 3 as we try to, commemorate BHM, Black History Month. I say this, we had a good time last night. We watched Ron Dalton Jr.'s Hebrew to Negroes movie and had some people come out, and that was the only time black people, or so-called black people, will be at least inclined to hear. But we will continue with this presentation on decoding the past. We're on part 3. So those who are watching, 1 and 2 is already up. We're on part 3, the so-called black with a new Messianic mind. Okay, the so-called black with a new Messianic mind. So we're going to talk about our mind today. I think part 1, we talked about the narrative. That is, someone's told you your story. And we have to believe that that person that told us the story was being truthful, that they had your best intentions, right? And we know that that's false. Got to call a spade a spade. That was not the best intentions for you. Then we talked about part 2 last week about what? Making a what?
Making a decision.
You got to make a choice. You got to make a decision. Then choose this day whom you will serve. Which way are you going? Fork in the road. So once it's been brought to your attention, there's been a narrative put around you. There's a story around you, about you, but it's not true. You got to make a choice. You have to make a choice. And some choose to go the right way. Some choose to go the other way. Some choose to go down Sheep Boulevard. Some choose the Goat Way Express. It is what it is. They're going to make their choice. But those that have chosen Sheep Boulevard to stay on this path, because all you got to do is just turn around. Ain't nowhere we can go and you just can't turn around. You get off on any exit in America. You know what you can do? Turn around. There's a U-turn. There's somewhere a divider where you can turn around and go back where you came from. So in order to do that or not to do that, right, the so-called black or the scattered must have a Messianic mind. You must have a Messianic mind. Your mind must be like Mashiach. There's no other way. He made it. He designed it that way. And we're gonna look at that today. So Ephesians 3:21. Unto him be glory in the church by Christ, Yahshua throughout all ages, world without end. Amen. We look at that as King James. We look at it in NASB. To him be the glory in the church and in Christ Yahshua to all generations forever and ever. Amen. We get a footnote in the NASB version that literally means of the age of the ages. Of the age of the ages. So when it says throughout all ages or all generations forever and ever, amen, that it's saying of the age of the ages. So we're talking about the glory in the church or the glory within Israel by Mashiach throughout all ages, world without end, amen. So when we see amen, we know what that means, right? That means what?
Of the truth.
Of the truth. Let it be so as you say it. Sealing the deal. Amen. So Shaul is talking about the generations or from every age coming to an accumulation in one age. So of all the ages, there's been a representative or righteousness or glory, mercy. There was Adam, there was Noah, right? We have different eras where there's been an ambassador. And they're talking about at the final age that there will be an accumulation of all this glory through one. So accumulation of Yah's glory, righteousness, mercy, and power in one complete and final age or era. Okay? This should sound familiar because the book of Revelation talks about what? 1,000 years. Ruling and reigning with who?
Christ.
For 1,000 years. So in Ephesians 3, we're talking about literally of the age of the ages. Okay? Of the age of the ages. So of all the powerful things Yah has done since the beginning of the first age, which I'm sure there are ages that we probably don't even know about, right? There's some things that we don't even know. But the era of Messiah, the era of Christ, will be the accumulation in a certain age, a certain era of time. And in order to reach that time, your mind must be unlocked.
Amen.
You will not be in that era if you do not have a new Messianic mind. You will not be there. Because it's within Yah's plan that all of the ages will accumulate to one age. So all the things that we talked about that Yah has done in the past, it's leading you toward a final age, a final era. Okay? Hope that makes sense. The children of the diaspora must know, or what, Hebrew students? Yada. You got to know who? Christ. You must know him. The ultimate key to unlocking the mysteries or the memories of yesterday. He is.
Yes.
He holds all the answers.
Amen.
So when we talk about the so-called black or the children of the diaspora, and as we looked at last night, obviously we ain't alone. Right? You're foolish if you think we're alone. Okay? So all the children of diaspora must know Mashiach. He made it that way. Okay? We got to know him in order for the memories of yesterday to be unlocked. So we have to know Mashiach. Okay? Brother, give me 1 Maccabees 12:1. Somebody else give me Ephesians 4:23, please. Your 1 Maccabees 12:1. Ephesians 4 and 23.
You want in that order?
Yeah, if we get Maccabees first, please. Got one brother already on it, I think. I hear him turning pages.
Now, when Jonathan saw that the time served him, he chose certain men and sent them to Rome for to confirm and renew the friendship that they had with them.
And to do what?
To confirm to renew the friendship that they have with them. To confirm and renew.
To confirm and to renew. To renew something. And that same Greek we're going to find in Ephesians 4 and 23. Whoever got Ephesians 4 and 23. Go ahead, sir.
And you must let your spirits and minds keep being renewed.
Keep letting your spirits and what?
Mind.
Your who?
Mind.
Being what?
Renewed.
And then so the same Greek is used. So when they went to where?
To Rome.
To Rome, to make sure that something was what?
Renewed.
Right? To make sure that this relationship, this arrangement, right? Make sure it's right. So in order for us to stay within this covenant, to stay within the borders of protection that Pastor Battle was talking about this morning, that the mind must be what? Renewed.
Amen.
Your mind must be renewed. And it's not just renewed as in any kind of thought. Once again, your homegirl Oprah, what she say? Oh, there's 1,000 ways to get to him. So there's only one way that the mind must be renewed. It must be renewed in
Christ.
That's the only way.
Amen.
So not only are you to have a renewed mind, but it must be a renewed mind in Messiah.
That's right.
So the children of the diaspora, those that have been scattered, there's a condition for you. What is the condition? You must have your mind renewed within Messiah. Period. So if we want to get the key, we want to get the doors open, we got to have our mind renewed in Messiah. Okay? There must be a changing of your mind, and the mind must be changed within Messiah. This is the key component of the condition for the children of the diaspora. Please understand. So in order for the branches to be restored from the book of Romans, the children of the diaspora must have their mind changed, but their mind must be changed to the mind of Mashiach. That's the only way. So where? Like, what's going on? Where? Like, you know, like where are you from? Where are you going? Where are you? Well, I'm from Memphis. Oh, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where I'm from, Memphis, M-Town bound. Or I'm from Cali. I'm from Alabama. I'm from New York City. Where are you from? Where's your origin? And why is it over and over and over and over? Yah says, I will bring them back to the land I promised to Abraham.
Amen.
That's what he said. I don't know how many times it's in there. I will specifically bring this people back to the land that I promised Abraham.
From the four corners.
I don't care where you're at. I don't care what's going on. One condition. Your mind must be renewed in Mashiach.
Amen.
Just the only condition you got. That's your only ticket. There's a one-way ticket back home. Your mind better be changed. Was that Hebrew students? Mashiach, which means anointed. Anointed one. First time we find this word in our Tanakh will be in Leviticus chapter 4. First time you'll find it. It was not used in Leviticus chapter 4. Refers to priests, kings, saints. Right? It's in Moshe was anointed. Right? David was anointed. Right? Samuel was anointed. So we'll find people who are anointed, but it also makes a special reference to the special one. So there's one who is special, And this one who is special has the keys for you getting back home.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be willing to take the keys. And the key is simple. It's real easy. Just change your mind. Your mind got to be changed. Your mind's got to be renewed. For all have sinned, right? All, right? All, all have sinned and come short of the glory of Elohim, being justified freely by his grace through the what? Redemption that is in. So the only way to earn redemption, because all have sinned,
Yes, sir.
that you must be redeemed through Mashiach.
Hallelujah.
So in order for you to be redeemed, like, hey, I'm going to do this for you because all have sinned. But the return is that you must have your mind renewed. Like who? Like mine. Because you are the student and he is the teacher. You are the servant. He is the master.
Right.
So the only way for the children of the diaspora is to have their mind like the great teacher. It's Romans 3:23-24. 1 Corinthians 15:20-24. But now is Christ risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, so through man came what? Death.
Yeah.
By man came also the resurrection of the dead, right? Who is that man? So someone had to come down and undo what the first man did, so that you have a way. So, because the book said what? All have sinned. So we know that Israel, but now we get to see Yah's blueprint. We call the what? Bigger what? The bigger picture. We see a bigger plan. That's why you can't listen to some of these knuckleheads and some of these Negroes. I could have went somewhere else, but I'm in a good mood today. We can't listen to these people when they start trying to compact the big, greater plan to try to compartmentalize and make it smaller. But we see here, he's talking about all have sinned. Then we see that for since by man came death, so that means everybody that is a human will do what? Die. So that means a man has to come, another man has to come, so there is a resurrection of the dead.
Right.
For as in Adam, all die. So unless you're a freakazoid and you're not a human, this don't apply to you. But if you're a human, this applies to you. Well, you know, some of them Gentile, if you're a human, this applies to you.
Right.
For as in Adam all die, so even so in who? Mashiach,
All will be made.
all shall be made alive.
Amen.
But every man in his own order.
Yes. Amen.
Right? So some will rise at a different time. Right? The more work you put in, the sooner he's going to bring you up. The more work you put in, the sooner he's going to bring you up. But every man in his own order. Christ the first fruits. Afterward they that are Christ that is coming. Then cometh the what? End. When he shall have delivered up the kingdom to Elohim, even the Father. So I think it was talked about this morning that everything is about this relationship between humans and Yah being back on the same page. Because there was a certain group of people that Yah went a covert operation on within a place called Mitzrayim. And he went in and he had a great plan, and he had a someone that was like a mediator or a deliverer, and he had him right within the king's house. And Yah had such a great plan that he was going to show himself, show that I am the supreme Elohim of all the other Elohims, and I'm going to physically pull them out. Somebody give me Exodus 19:6, please. Because I think we forget why. Exodus 19:6, whoever got it.
19:6
Yes, sir.
says, and you shall be a kingdom of Kohanim for me, a nation set apart. These are the words you are to speak to the people of Israel.
So the people of Israel will be a who?
Kingdom of priests.
A kingdom of priests. So who are these kingdom of priests going to be serving and ministering to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but also who else? Because all have, so that means the world.
Right.
That means all the other people.
Right.
All the other people who are not of this specific group, this group is for you. So you as a big group, you're going to be like priests to everybody else. But within you, there are priests. Because not all of the Israelites are priests, correct?
Right.
You have your Levites.
Right.
But as far as all 12 of you, all 12 tribes of you, you will be like priests to the world.
Right.
And you are to be medicine
Right.
for them. But you won't believe this. They had a problem. I want to be like them. The way they worship, the way they celebrate, the way they serve, I want to do what they do.
Right.
So we have a hiccup. Or at least that's what the adversary thought he was getting over. I'm going to derail them. And all it did was it made a way for, I think it talks about in Galatians, about the seed of Abraham. Not many seeds, but one seed. Right? And we see here, even so in Christ shall who all be made alive. Scroll down 24. Then cometh the end when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. Okay? So there will be the end when the kingdom will be delivered up. Okay? And before we get so the new heavens and the new earth, that happens when? Before the 1,000 years or after the 1,000 years? So we have to get to a certain age first. So before you get to that right there, you have to get to a certain, and we would know it as the Messianic reign, Messianic era, 1,000-year reign. And before there is a new heaven and a new earth, there is a Messianic reign. So the goal is to get you there. The goal is to get you there. Some are in the dark still. To knock only belief is alive and well. So when we say to knock only, what does that mean? That means what? Genesis through Malachi. Stop. Pause. Well, that's interesting because everything we've looked at to the people of the diaspora, that you must have your mind renewed in Mashiach. So you can know who you are. You can know who you are. You can know. And you see a little light there. But you're still in a hole. You're still in a pit. Still bars there. Still chained up. Because there's only, what does it say? In Christ shall all be made alive. There's no freedom for you. So that's becomes very strong to those of the diaspora. That becomes that's a huge rock in the road. But you know what? He is called a stone of stumbling, ain't he? And people stumble at the word. People stumble at the word. And then I guess that's why Yochanan said he's the word made flesh. Okay. So I love talking about our brothers across the water. But you know what some of the Nigerians, the Yehudim of Nigeria, you know what though? No Mashiach. They stop at Malachi. They stop at Malachi. No Mashiach. Well, if there's no Mashiach, how is your mind completely changed? How can you be in the Messianic reign? How do you get, and if you can't get there, then what about when the special one delivers up the kingdom to the Father whom when it first come from? See how Yah is? He like, I started it, I'm going to finish it. How are you going to finish? With my strong right hand. Is that not why in the book that you're supposed to be dressed in his strength? And Isaiah, right, we talk about that, being dressed in his strength, so that we won't be found naked and shame.
Amen.
The right arm or the strength. That's what Pastor said this morning. The strength.
It is.
You're supposed to be awake, Zion. Be found in my strength. Put my strength on. Put these garments on. So we're not all the way strong, and it looks good. We're in a position we don't know, and look, they know, and they do it, and it looks good. But once again, the book tells us that we're headed somewhere, and there's only one who is getting us there. And if you ain't got that one, you ain't got no ticket.
Right.
There's no admission for you.
Right.
I want to see the Celtics play the Lakers. I walk up to the door. They say, "Sir, can we help you?" "Yeah, I want to come to the game." "Where your ticket?" "I ain't got one." You ain't getting in the building. You're not getting in. Matter of fact, you act a fool, big old boy, you know what we're going to do? Security, get him.
Right.
That's what happened in the beginning in the garden, right? They lost their ticket.
Right. Yeah.
And then you know what security came.
Right.
There were cherubims with flaming swords.
Right.
That thing was hot.
Right. You can't even come in here no more.
You got to go.
Right.
Do we know that the commandment keepers, the congregation in New York is still there today? They're having their 100-year anniversary from 1919 to 2019, right? But you know what? No Mashiach. They're children of the diaspora. Torah, eat clean, pray, right? We've been to service. Pray, sweet, nice, fair. No Mashiach. Because he's not coming back as a lamb now. There's a lot of prophecies where he's talking about him coming and healing and bringing water. Man, he did. But there's a lot of other prophecies about a lot of blood, a lot of guts, a lot of butt whooping. That's what we're waiting on, right?
That's what's going to show up.
2 Corinthians 3:13. Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look into the end of that which is abolished. But their minds were blinded. For until this day, so when he's writing, he's saying like, hey, like they're like that now. And you won't believe this, but in 2019, they're like that now. That's now. That's like right now. We go across the water. We'd have to be careful where we go. We'd have to find congregations and groups that believe in Mashiach. Because you won't believe this. They're so cold with the Tanakh, they'll talk you out of it. Because that's what happens. They're going to talk you out of it. That's now. So he's talking about these things going on in his time until this day. For until this day remains the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Tanakh. So when you read the Tanakh, you don't see him. There wasn't a New Testament back then.
Right.
There was a New Testament back then.
Right.
We have it. But once again, the authors of the New Testament say, hey man, get my book, get my letter to a group of people over a specific situation out of that holy scriptures.
Right.
Get it out of there. That's what they would say. So for until this day, we're at the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Tanakh, which veil is done away in Mashiach. But even to this day, when Moshe is read, the veil is upon their heart.
Still,
So we got to know who that they is now. Can't be colorblind. Can't be colorblind now. You got to be gentle as a dove, but wise as. But even to this day, when Moshe is read, the veil is upon their heart. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the master, the veil shall be taken away. Now the master is that spirit. Where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. So some people are not free. You can go to service on Shabbat. You can do a lot of different things. And according to this, because of not having your mind, a new Messianic mind, especially the children of the diaspora, you are still incarcerated. You're not free. So when you have your mind right, you snap, you charge up, you go to Goku or something. All right? That's when Brother Aaron, when that Ruach hit Aaron, he'd be like, ah! I was like, yeah. But that's what it's like to become free and being in liberty. The mind, a new Messianic mind. Which is one reason that's why there's the big cover-up. That's why a narrative has been given to you. Because the book talks about the abilities that you have. If you be who you are and do what you're supposed to do in Mashiach, you're a threat.
Right.
You're a problem. Oh no, wait a minute, time out. I do remember Shaul and Cephas and brothers walking around and their shadows healed the sick. Is it not recorded? They would just speak in spirits. And so once again, if you are who you're supposed to be in Mashiach, you're a problem. Therefore, the first part was the narrative. Don't buy the narrative. Don't buy the story. But when you buy the story, now you're half of a gun. You're half of a sword. You're a blade with no handle. Or you're a handle with no blade. Half. So you have to get over the narrative, know who you are, know your past, know your history, and then have your mind changed in Mashiach. You're a problem. The book lets you know that. Because whatsoever things written aforetime is written for your, so that you know you're a problem. So I have to distort. I got to tell you some lies. Some quote from Murray Yoshiyahu and Hulda. The curses will continue to befall on the true children of Israel as long as they remain outside of their covenant. It was said this morning. Relationship with Yah, right? Hidden in plain sight. That's how Yah operates. It's like right there, like, so where are my hidden ones? Right there in front of your face. Where are they at? You pass them when they're going inside the stuff. Huh? When they stand on the corner, pushing that coke, pushing that powder, that's where they at. Selling mollies, whatever they doing, hustling, pimping, whatever they doing, playing ball, whatever they doing, you right there in front of your face, hidden in plain sight. Acts 1. Now there were at the church, there was at Antioch certain what? Prophets and what? So you got to remember your former occupation. Somebody give me Jonah. Give me Jonah right quick. Jonah, yeah, get Jonah. Jonah, look at Jonah 1.
He said, "Who are you? What is your occupation?"
Yeah, look at Jonah 1, that first chapter, when they ask him, "Who are you?" You got it, brother. You see what I'm talking about? When it's talking about Jonah, when they asked him what his occupation, where from? I can't remember the chapter and verse.
Here, it's 8.
Go ahead, brother. Read.
So they said to him, please explain to us, for whose sake is this evil upon us? What is your occupation?
What is your what?
What is your occupation?
Man, know what kind of work you used to do. Know what you used to do. That's a part of your part of your history. Know what you used to do. Go ahead, read.
And where do you come from?
And where you come from. So know your job and know where you come from.
All right.
Go ahead.
What is your country?
Where your country at? Afro-American, African-American, Black, Negro. Where are you from? And why do you believe it? Go ahead.
And from what people are you?
And from what people are you from? Are you from them bushmen that was naked running around? Savages and wild barbarians.
Then they say, well,
So why do you need to believe that? To keep you from doing your job.
right.
Exodus 19:6. Exodus 19:6. Because we got to know what your job was. Know what Yah said your job was. Ain't nothing wrong with having a job. Because you got to make some money, pay bills, take care of your family. But know what your job, your divine job. You got it. Who got it?
You got it.
Go ahead.
And you will be a kingdom of Kohanim for me.
For who?
For me.
So a kingdom of priests for him. So your divine duty that I'm from me to the children of Israel. You are to be priests for me. Serving and ministering to the nations. Now go ahead, Brother Aaron, and read that again. What you had in Jonah.
I got it. That is, so they said to him, please explain to us, for whose sake is this evil upon us? What is your occupation?
Your occupation.
And where do you come from?
Where you come from. Keep on reading.
What is your country?
Your country.
And from what people are you?
See, and you know what? You won't believe this, but Jonah, he answered every question, didn't
Yes,
he?
you did.
Go ahead, brother, read it.
And he said to them, I am a Hebrew.
You a who?
I am a Hebrew.
And you won't believe this about Hebrews. We got Hebrews cross over now.
Mm.
You gotta cross over. And somehow, some way, you cross over many waters. There was a book by what's that brother's name? Can't remember his name. Harvard professor. The police beat him up at his own house. They arrested him at his own house trying to get his own life self out.
Beat 'em up.
I can't say beat him up. They didn't beat him up.
PBS.
He was on PBS. I can't remember his name. But anyway, he wrote a book talking about Across Many Waters. Good book. Go ahead, brother. Keep on.
And I am fearing Yah, the Elohim of the heavens, who made the sea and the dry land.
So he know who he is, and he's like, look, let me give you part of my resume. Part of my resume, I fear who?
Yah.
So let me give you my resume so you want to know what I do. I fear the Elohim of who?
Israel.
And he say heaven and earth. So he made a clear distinction. I don't know what y'all do and how y'all get down who you worship, but the Elohim that I serve, he's the El Elyon. He's the creator. You can worship these other little knick-knack, Rudy Poo things, whatever you do. I'll tell you who I worship. Go ahead, read.
And the men were exceedingly afraid.
They were afraid. They were what?
They were exceedingly afraid.
So when you're on your job, and when you know who you are,
Come on.
and you doing what you're supposed to do, they'll be what?
Exceedingly afraid.
So that's why I gotta lie to you. That's why I gotta take things away from you. That's why I gotta tell you that your name is 2 continents. That's why I gotta go upside your head. That's why I gotta change your school. That's why I gotta lie to you, because if you be who you're supposed to be, knowing who you are, they'll be what?
Exceedingly afraid.
Afraid of you. Not because you big or not. I'm scared of you because you on your job. You on your job.
That's right.
You good at your job. Someone from on high gave you specific duties to do, and you fulfill them. Because when you on your job, darkness flees.
That's right.
You on your job, people ain't sick no more. If there's anything else, go ahead and finish.
Why have you done this? For the men knew that he fled from the presence of Yah, for he had informed them. And they said to him, What are we to do to you to make the sea calm for us? For the sea was growing more stormy. And he said to them, Take me and throw me into the sea,
Throw them in the water.
so that the sea becomes calm for you, for I know that this great storm is because of me.
So when you're on your job, so Jonah did what Johnny do. He took a long lunch break. Johnny's supposed to be on break for 30 minutes. Like, where Johnny at? It's been 3 hours. Johnny gone. Like, look, that job, I ain't doing that job. That ain't part of my restriction. I ain't going up there with them. I ain't fooling with them. That's not part of my
He
job.
quit.
He took a long lunch break. Y'all said, I'm going to go get Johnny. Johnny going to do his job. So we have to do our job. Because sometimes we don't do our job. We won't believe what our boss will do. He'll throw us in the sea.
Right.
He'll throw us in the sea.
Right.
You had to cross a lot of waters to get over here. You know what? When you go through the histories of it, you know what a lot of them did?
What?
They jumped in the sea.
Sure enough. Sure did.
So back in Acts right here. So at Antioch, there were certain prophets and teachers doing their job, as Barnabas and Simon that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Mananim, which had been brought up with the Herod, the Tetrarch, and Shaul. So folks is on their job, and they're going places, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. Simon, called Niger. Niger, Neger of Latin origin, mean black.
Right.
Brother, you're so black, we're gonna surname you black. And that's in your New Testament now. So it's not the fact that he was, as we would define black, he was so black.
He was black.
He was so black, we're gonna record it. He was so black, we had to record it. But you won't believe it. What you gonna find? Well, remember what Paul said, what for everything was written aforetime was written for your what?
Right.
So you know that there were black, dark, that were what? Prophets and teachers
Wow.
on their job. And then I'm gonna tell you, Lucius, not Lucius from what was it, Empire? What was it? Was it Lucius? Look, so you see Lucius, you think Empire and Tara J. Person did just acting ratchet and rat. What's it? The narrative. Let's put that narrative. hip hop gangbanging, you gay, you hustling, you money, you pimping, all you can do is rap. A narrative put about you, but Lucius, not of empire, but of Cyrene, was from where? Where you from, brother? There. That's where he's from.
Go ahead.
That's right there in your book. So he from there, and he all the way over in Palestine.
That's heavy.
But that ain't nothing new. But you know what? If I don't want you being who you're supposed to be, I'm going to tell you a lot of lies. I'm going to dope you up. I'm going to mess up your mind. I'm going to dumb you down.
Okay.
I'm going to make you dumb. Your school books, your textbooks, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I ain't putting nothing in there about you. Remember, what we talked about in part 1, a talebearer gave you your story.
Talebearer.
What we find out a talebearer was? Lying, mischievous, purposely telling you things to hurt you. Now, how can you hurt a child of Israel? If a child of Israel is not doing what was told to him in Exodus 19:6, there's a problem. Because you ain't on your job. And I don't care where you work at right now. Raise your hand if you got a job. I work for myself, but whatever. Look, that's still a job. Mess around, I mess around. Look, I mess around, fire myself. If I ain't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Fire myself. If you got a job, somebody can fire you if you ain't doing your job.
You out of here, sir.
If you got a job and you ain't doing your job, someone can fire you.
And so will.
And the children of Israel went into diaspora because they weren't doing their job.
Fire.
And then in your firing and wherever you went, talebearers. So, oh yeah, I know who you are. Yeah, you know, your history. What we talked about. African American history begins with what? What they tell us?
Slavery.
Begins with slavery.
1619.
Huh? That's when your stuff started. A talebearer told you that.
Sure enough. That's the truth.
That's what they told you. So you don't know nothing about yourself. Therefore, you can't perform your divine duties. You messed up. You messed up. So y'all like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do to you. But other people, they what's that say? They keep pushing the goal on keep pushing the goalpost on me, coach. To keep pushing the goalpost back. Well, you know you're gonna have to overachieve.
Right.
But see, you so messed up in our mind. We're so messed up in our mind, we can't even overachieve. That's what he said, man. African American history begins with. Like, that don't even sound right. Don't even sound right. We have
Yeah, charger.
volume. No, that's fine.
No. That's how you sure we'll put somebody on the spot. Want it quick, don't
I'm sorry.
you? Yes.
Okay.
Ooh. Are you doing that again?
Not all of them.
Short break.
Yes.
Shalom, everyone. Giving all praises to the Most High, Elohim, and His Word and His truth. First of all, I want to just thank everybody who has checked out the Black
I had
Panther
it
movie
left
that
where I
I
needed it at.
exposed.
That's all right.
Okay, just want to thank y'all. This is part 2. This is going to
Real
be a
quick.
short version.
We just got to remember one thing.
Maybe other things that I didn't speak on in this video here, but I will be showing 10 things, okay? 10 things in this movie that many people did not see or did not get. I'm getting straight to the point, okay? Many people ask for a short version, so this is a short version. I'll be showing 10 things to prove to the new viewers and those that are just clicking on this video and just watching this
Get there,
video
my
for
brother,
the
get
first
there.
time, okay? Proving that those whom they call African Americans or blacks, okay, or Negroes, they are the real biblical people. They are the real chosen people of the Most High God. They are the real Hebrew Israelites, or AKA Jews, okay, of the scriptures, okay? So before I do that, I just want to bring out these other films real quick for the new viewers so they can understand and see what's going on here when I bring out these 10 things in this Black Panther moving. Okay, so without further ado, let's get it.
Remember,
You're not even American. You're not even African American. You're not even African American. You're not even African American.
Yeah, what am I?
Them. You're not even American. You're not even African American. You're
You are of the evil tribe, Bennett. You are of the evil tribe.
some of y'all Igbos in here. Some of you.
You are of the evil tribe, evil tribe, evil tribe, evil tribe.
Is it chopped and screwed?
Hebrew is a Hebrew,
Mm-hmm.
a Jew.
This young man
It's
is
a
the
movie.
evil tribal leader. Do you understand what that means?
Evil tribe, evil tribe.
This young man is the evil tribal leader. Do you understand what that means?
Now I just wanted to do the, you're not even American. You're not even African American. And you're not even American. You're not even African American. You're not even American. You're not even African American. You're not even American. You're not even African American. But see, the talebearer telling you who you are. That's affecting your occupation, divine wise.
Amen.
You got to work 6 days out the week. I understand that. You got other jobs to do too.
Amen.
Well, I mean, the world, right? I mean, because we looked at was all have sinned, and Yah was very personal when he went into Mitzrayim and pulled them out. In that same chapter of Exodus 19, he said, I flew you on eagle wings to myself. There's I got a special job for you. Some things got to be corrected. I got to get you right. We got to do some fighting, some cleaning up.
Right.
But I'm with you. But because we learned this more with lack of faith, right? As soon as they get over there to Palestine and Canaan, ooh, the children of Anak is there. We're like grasshoppers in their sight. But continuing, if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, they're on the other side of the flood. You had to cross some water now. You had to cross some water to get over here. Or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. So you got choices to go.
Right.
Children of the diaspora.
Right.
You're going to serve the gods that were on the other side, or you're going to serve gods on the side where you at now. But you're going to make a choice. You're going to go down Sheep Boulevard, or you're going to jump on Gold Express. You got to make a choice. And it's imperative that when you make your choice, that if you get on Sheep Boulevard, your mind must be changed or renewed in Mashiach.
That's right.
Because all things will be given to him. All redemption power is given to him. Do you remember? Do you remember? Remember what? Hebrews must cross over.
So enough.
Amen.
You got to cross over. It's just, it is what it is. Even if y'all come get you and hold your hand, like he held their hand coming out of Mitzrayim, they had to cross over. But he held their hand, but you still got to cross over. Like I said, he talked about this morning. So I just hope we're paying attention. I just hope we're paying attention. You gotta cross over. You gotta make a choice now. You can be like Rebecca, or what's her name, and bring them idols with you. Huh? Or you can serve the gods of the Canaanites or whatever, or the Amorites, or whatever land that you dwell in. You gotta make a choice. It's Elohim on both sides of the flood. It's Elohim on both sides of that Atlantic Ocean. You over here, you got all kind of cultic holidays. You got to separate, got to change your mind.
Amen.
Well, you know, I don't get off and all that, but I like Dr. Umar Johnson, and I like all them comedic. They shut their mouth.
Go ahead and say it.
God's from the other side. You want to go back to Egypt again? Did you not read? For whatsoever things is written aforetime, written for your what?
Learn.
For your learning. So why would you go back to Egypt again?
Come on.
Well, you know, I trace my stuff back, and I'm from the coast of Ouida. Ouida, or you die. Place of snake worship.
I ain't from
place of Python, where the temple of the Python is. So it's Elohim. Wherever. You won't believe this, but when they was in the wilderness, y'all called some fiery serpents, didn't you?
Yes.
And then he had to put a serpent on a,
Oh,
and then for them to get they,
Hell.
and then the descendants of them started worshiping snakes and still worship snakes today. And from that port, some of y'all came from there. But remember, you're not even American. You're not even African American. There's Elohim on all everywhere. There's other Elohim, small gods. Choose who you're gonna serve. Brother, I was red as I don't know what. The Witches of Baltimore,
that's on.
November 5th, 2018. Oh, just
That's on the radio.
last year.
Tom Drummond.
Young black women are leaving Christianity and embracing African witchcraft and digital covens.
Show them who he is.
That's right now.
Yeah, that's on the radio.
They got their own radio spot.
That's on Tom Jordan. They did an interview.
Women at a festival honoring an African goddess in February 2018. That's right now. So the children of the diaspora must have a changed mind. One reason is because someone is coming, and this time he's not coming as a lamb. So in the judgment on the nations who are holding, harboring, or with the children of Israel and their scattering dwell, he's looking for two things. Do the people of the diaspora have a changed mind in Mashiach? And do the Gentiles that are in the same area have a changed mind in Mashiach?
Hallelujah. Thank you.
That's all he want to know. I ain't about to have no conversation with you. I ain't about to talk about a lot of stuff. We ain't doing revisionist history. Either you in or you out. Your pastor ain't tell you nothing. Your parents ain't teach you nothing. Too bad, Chad. That's why he's called the pastors foolish and brutish for scattering the sheep. But you won't believe what your great teacher said. If the blind follow the blind,
They will be in the ditch.
they both fall in the ditch. He said both of them. He ain't saying I ain't going to pull out one and say they're both in the ditch. Power of the Mind with the Ruach HaKodesh in 2019. I know it's 2019, but it's Gregorian time or whatever. Some people be saying, hey man, this is wrong. Just where we at, where we are right now, 2019. Okay? I acknowledge it, Gregorian calendar. I got you. The power of the mind with the Ruach HaKodesh. I don't know what else to say. And one of my Hebrew teachers, if I have a hard question, I will ask him, who is sharp as a tack in the Tanakh, in his Hebrew, in history, he's a history professor. And I told him, I think a couple years ago, I said, man, I want to thank you, and I hope I'm not offending you. But, I believe in Mashiach, and in the New Testament, there's a brother named Shaul. He was cold. He cold. He was cold with that law. He could speak multiple languages. He was cold. But something had to happen to him. And Mashiach opened his mind. And he was, Paul was off the chain. And I said, brother, you remind me of him. So I hope that encounter happens. I'd love to have you on this side. But when you don't have Mashiach, you're only going to go so far.
It's smart for nothing.
You're only going to go so far.
So far.
Right.
It's good that you got the Torah, but the stipulations have changed.
Right.
People of the diaspora, because I kicked you out in punishment. Now I'm going to come get you because I love you. But only one condition. My son died. You got to have a mind like him. You ain't got a mind like him, then you cannot be in this part of this Messianic reign. Right? So it's coming up out of the water, having a new change. Coming up out. A changed mind going forward. Right? So you have the world view. How do you view things? The world view aspect or from Yah's view? You got the world view or Yah's view. The world view or Yah's view. So it is necessary that the people of the diaspora have a new mind, and the new mind must be in Mashiach.
Amen.
That's it. Romans 12, 1 and 3. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service, and be not conformed to this world.
Amen.
Right.
So what kind of view you got? Worldview or Yah's view? Worldview or Yah's view? Book says, and be not conformed to this world. What? But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. How must your mind be renewed? In Mashiach.
Amen.
Well, you know, I'm a 232nd generation relative of Judah. Good. Is your mind changed in Mashiach?
Right.
Yes or no?
36.
232nd. Is your mind changed? Yes or no? And is it changing Mashiach?
Right.
That's all you want to know.
Right.
Cut past all the other stuff.
Right.
You got a ticket or not?
Right.
That you may prove what is what? Good. And what? Acceptable. And perfect will of Elohim. Taking back to the Father. Because once again, we know the Mashiach does the Father's will.
That's right.
Me and my Father is
One.
For I say, through grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, clear mind,
Yeah.
according as God hath dealt every man a measure of faith. Which man? Every man.
Every man.
Every man.
Thank you, Father.
You can have that faith.
Deuteronomy 32:26. I said I would scatter them into corners. I'll make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So, I'm going to scatter you people. But if you have a renewed mind, you're turning back, you're walking back in toward, you're separating from the gods of the land where you dwell. You're cutting them off, you're separating, you're doing big things, but you're also respecting your neighbor, you're loving your wife, you're loving your children, you're being honest, you got clean speech. You're doing everything you got to do, and then the mind must be renewed in Mashiach. And whoa, I'm going to show out. You think Egypt was rough? Huh? You think that? I'm going to show out. Because as we talked about the first week or last week, that Yah fights with what? Plagues.
Yes, sir.
He went and he plagued Mitzrayim. He plagued. So this time in Revelation, the whole world gets plagued. Why? Because I will scatter them into corners. So the children of Israel were once in Egypt in one spot. He came, he battling. This time they're all over the world. And I'm going to plague the entire world. Why? Because the children of Israel. I'm coming to get you. But descendants, if your mind is not renewed and changed in Mashiach, you will die. But if the stranger next to you, mind
You better talk.
is changed in Mashiach,
Hallelujah.
come with me.
Thank you.
Right.
Come with me. Some of you like you Negroes saying this stuff.
Right.
You're held by every word you said now.
Right.
Every word you're going to be held to it.
Right.
Amen. That's true.
I will scatter them also among the heathen. So he coming, whom neither they nor their fathers have known. And I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them. Now it's personal now.
Right. Yeah.
When we went to that church, we went to that Sunday church. The Sunday church invited us. We said, hey, look, you got to look at it like this. We was in a relationship. It wasn't really working right. We just had to separate.
Right.
And over time, we come back and we get back together. And this time, I'm more equipped. Because I realized when I was not with you, it was just wait. It was bad. I thought it was going to be okay. I thought I'd be better off out there. So I'm going to let it go. I'm going to go out there, I find me somebody. I go another way. Then you come to realize that that wasn't a good move. Never forget, when I was in Texas, the school I was working at, and somebody came down and visited, and my boss, my head coach, he told me, he said, hey, you let her go, you a fool. You let her go. But I did take that wise counsel. Regardless of what I was thinking, I took that wise counsel. So there was a relationship, brother, and Yah. things not going right, you know what? We're gonna take a time apart. And when we take time apart, you gotta get out of my house. Well, where you gonna go? Where you gonna send me to? All over the corner, all over the earth. And I'll make sure that people forget. I'll make sure they forget
Never remember.
who you are. Our past, I'll make sure they forget. Then said I, what come these to do? And he spake, saying, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. These are the horns which have scattered Judah. These are the horns which have scattered Judah, scattered Judah, scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head, but these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles. So, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it. So, once again, Yah is going to come, and I'm coming to get the children of Israel, but the people, where they at, that have been wrong or vicious or whatever, to them, I'm going to come see you. I'm coming knocking at your door. I'm coming, who there, peeping through your window. I'm coming to holler at you.
Nobody.
I'm coming to get you. But in my coming to get you, if the children of Israel in that place do not have a changed mind in Mashiach, you getting it too, family.
Uh-oh.
You getting it too. It's like, man, I don't get it. These horns have scattered Judah, but then who are these? These are coming to get the horns who have scattered Judah. It's Zechariah 1:41. So, now remember, we watched that last night. Pay attention. All stuff worked through the Ruach. So, this is the trans-Saharan slave trade. These are the slave trade routes. So, I think Brother Don talked about last night, as far east as Asia, all the way across to China. But we just said what the book say. I'm gonna scatter y'all all over the earth now. I'm gonna scatter y'all all over the earth now. All over, all up in Europe, Russia, Asia, China. Look, all the way down there. Look at that, all the way down there. Trans-Saharan slave trade starts in about 630, 640, 650 AD. Lasts for about almost 1,000 years. Really still going on. Because understand, right after trans-Saharan slave trade, you have the transatlantic slave trade. This begins in 1440. They started in 640, 630. You do the math, like 800 years. The same people, though. What did the Moors say? We talked about in part 1. What did the Moors say about the people south of the Sahara? That they were what? Cursed.
To slavery.
Destined to be slaves. The Moors said that. So we have the transatlantic slave trade. Another aspect of it, transatlantic slave trade. We also had the East African slave trade. That saw that was in the movie last night. But I already had it done, though. Already had that done now. It was done early in the week. The Indian Ocean slave trade. Indian Ocean slave trade. So now we know why there's so many dark-skinned people everywhere. That's why when them European explorers, like, man, where we go, they dark. They brown, they tawny. Everywhere we go. So we see that you have a forced migration by Yah. Because look, that's like 400 years worth of stuff. Stuff for like, and what did he say? He said that, hey, no one will help you.
Right.
No one will save you. No one gonna say, nobody gonna help you now.
Right.
You in this, as what they say, you in this for the long haul. You in this for the long haul, Smith. Jones. You in this for the long haul.
Brother and sisters, they are there. We are not lost. We are scattered. We are original Hebrew.
Hear what the elder said there?
We're not lost.
We are lost. We are not lost. We are scattered.
Brother and sisters, they are there. We are not lost. We are scattered. We are original Hebrew.
It's in South Africa.
True, too.
South Africa. And what he said was, you see the past, he said, we are not lost, we are scattered into the side. But what he said, when he said scattered, What did y'all say?
That's all I was scattered.
He's like, we're not lost. We're scattered. And we'll go forward a couple.
Thank you.
1 Corinthians 15:33, be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners. So you're scattered. And you're scattered around some people who might know, yeah, or might not, or may claim to and might not. But be not deceived, evil communication corrupt good manners. So once again, and this is what man, you know, Hebrews, and they be teaching that stuff. Man, we teach. You better live right. You better have high character. Has to integrity.
Amen.
Man, folks ain't gonna talk about that though.
No.
They might click on the video, man, he said, man, over. Hush your mouth. Live right. We talk about sin here. There's a sin problem.
Yes.
Amen.
Tell that.
34. Awake to righteousness and do what?
Sin not.
And sin not. Awake to righteousness and sin not. For some have not the knowledge of God. I speak this to your shame. So wherever you might be at, children of the diaspora, you got to have good communication. You can't be getting jammed up in stuff, right? And sin not. Wake up to righteousness. It's necessary because when I come, I'm gonna be looking.
Right.
And he's coming.
Yes, he is.
2 Timothy 3:1-5. This know also that in the last days, perilous times. So you want to talk about being a Hebrew, turning back to your roots, that's good. Yah said you have to do it in the hardest time. In the hardest time. So he good. But once again, this relationship when we split up, I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure. Once again, look, I ain't gonna put myself out there again now.
Right.
I think Pastor said I ain't gonna open myself to shame again. I ain't put myself out there again now. I ain't gonna go through all this again like I did last time for you. And you act how you acted. I ain't doing that. So this time when we hook up again, it's gonna be right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna be earth shattering. Literally, physically, spiritually. The earth gonna shatter.
Right.
The sky's gonna.
Right.
When we hook up this time.
Right.
This know also in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. So yeah, I'll wake you up. But I'm gonna wake you up in the midst of you being prideful and full of ego. Right? Because you already got those characteristics anyway about yourself. You already got those characteristics. So you're going to have to separate some things. You're going to have to let some things go. And I'm going to see if you're going to let them go. For men should be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, right? False accusers,
Right.
like a talebearer.
Right. Line.
Or sitting up there telling people that they go on to hell.
Right.
Tell them that they damned, that they cursed
Right.
because of their lack of melanin.
Right.
Incontent, fierce, despisers of those that are good.
Right.
Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of Elohim, having a form of godliness. So now I'm not talking about people that's wicked. Having a form of godliness. Now I ain't talking about the wicked. Wicked, just wicked. I'm talking about people who's supposed to be like you.
Right.
Having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. From such, get away. Verse 8. Now Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of what? Corrupt what? Minds. So the people have a corrupt mind, but you got to have a renewed mind.
Amen.
And your renewed mind has got to be in Mashiach. Think like. Certain way you got to think. Think like kings and queens.
Yeah, that's we are.
Think like kings and queens. Think like kings and queens. The book gonna tell you that you have a royal priesthood.
Right.
But then in your just day-to-day life, you don't think like a king or like a queen. Who told you to think like a peasant? Who told you to think small? Who told you that? Who said that? Who put that thought in your head? What's wrong with you thinking like a king or a queen? Didn't say acting like a knucklehead, but thinking like a king or a queen. Remember what Matthew Nolan said. Last video I showed y'all. You are noble, royal, regal. You are the descendants of the noble, royal, regal, nomadic Jew that went into Africa. That's you. So you got is Matthew Nolan. I forgot.
Toward to the tribe.
Toward to the tribes. So your nobility, royalty, regal. It's you. That don't mean walking around having a stack full of money, but your character,
That's right.
how you talk, how you
Amen.
act is on a kingly matter.
Amen.
That's how the so-called black's supposed to be. So-called. Dr. King's concern. The church must be reminded that it's not the master or the servant of the state, but rather the conscious of the state. It must be the guide and the critic of the state, and never its tool if the church does not recapture its prophetic zeal. It will become an irrelevant social club without moral and spiritual authority.
That's right.
Page 38, A Time to Break Silence. Is that not where we are right now?
Yes, sir.
You can find all kind of videos on Facebook and YouTube. Folks in the church jigging and dancing and cutting loose and dropping and popping like it's hot. You know, I ain't gotta go to the club. I just go to church.
Right.
I go to I have a club on Saturday night. I go to church on Sunday.
Right. And indulgence.
Them folks gonna be up in there, little shorts and skirts, I don't know what, butt just jiggling and jangling all around all over the place.
Right.
Huh?
That's true.
Well, that's what they wear.
Right. Worse than the club.
Choir directors up there sweet as Hershey Kisses.
Right. Sour
Huh?
apples.
But that's what Dr. King, that was his fear. That was his fear. So instead of being the critic and the conscience of the state, like state laws, state legislation, holding people to a standard, you can't hold nobody to no standard because you wicked as hell. You can't hold anybody to a standard if you're as wicked as them.
That's right.
That's why people in the regular world look at Christians and say, hypocrite,
Right.
hypocrite.
Oh my stars.
So you got to have a standard. So once again, the people of the diaspora and those who are, Genesis 26, where he's talking about blessing all the families of the earth.
I read from you, please.
Yeah,
That
go
would
ahead.
be,
So,
3.
go ahead. Start. So it's at 3. Go ahead and start verse 1.
And there was a scarcity of food in the land, besides the first scarcity of food, which was in the days of Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
And Yitzhak went to Abimelech, sovereign of the Philistines, in Gerar. And Yah appeared to him and said, do not go down to Mizraim.
Mm-hmm.
Live in the land which I command you.
Mm-hmm.
Sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you and bless you.
Mm-hmm.
For I give all these lands to you and your seed. And I shall establish the oath which I swore to your father Abraham.
The oath that he did what?
That I swore to your Abraham your father.
Go ahead.
And I shall increase your seed like the stars of the heavens,
Mm-hmm.
and I shall give all these lands to your seed.
Mm-hmm.
And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed.
All the who?
The nations of the earth
All the nations of the earth?
shall be
I
blessed.
bet if we looked at that, it would probably say something close to Goyim, wouldn't it? So all the nations are going to be blessed by the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and we ain't even got to Jacob yet. So now we get it. Do we not think that the master chess player, when back in Genesis 3, y'all walking through, 2 or 3, walking through the garden in the cool of the day? Adam, Adam, where art thou? I hear myself. Why you hide yourself? I was scared, I was naked, I was afraid. What you fear? What fear? I didn't put fear in you. I didn't create you to be fearful. Have you done what you're not supposed to? So from that point right there, I gotta come and I gotta clean this thing up. And how he gonna clean up the earth? He gonna clean up with what? Fire. Is that what Peter talked about?
Yeah.
He did it with once with water. But there's a fire coming. So that happened back then. So even though I'm gonna come and cook this place, I'm gonna make a way for all the families of the earth to be saved. Read that last part again, sir.
And I shall increase your seed like the stars of the heaven.
Uh-huh.
And I shall give all these lands to your seed.
Uh-huh.
And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed.
They're gonna be blessed through the children of Israel. And the children of Israel are in diaspora all over the world. And now everybody has a chance to have a renewed mind in Mashiach. And ain't no better blessing than to avoid that fire, that butt whooping. That's your blessing. Because since Adam fell, it's coming.
Right.
Because he told Adam. Now Adam mean what? Man, don't it? So Adam, you will die. Man, you will die. If you eat this fruit, man, you're gonna die. Think with the righteous mind. Think with the righteous mind. Rulership, owning, and creating. That's what we have to think. Rulership, owning, and creating. Rulership don't mean being a tyrant, going upside somebody's head.
Right.
Rulership, being a good governor. Owning, creating. Your father is a creator. You tell me we can't create? That you can't create? You got to put your mind to it. A mind that's in what? It's in Mashiach. It's in Christ. Think with a righteous mind. The kingdom. When it was demanded of the Pharisees, when the kingdom should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of God cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of Elohim is within you. Luke 17, 20, 21. The kingdom is where? Within you. So there's a power within you. Because Yahshua came for the children of Israel first. So the children of Israel, there's something unique within you. But once again, you know your occupation. You don't know your past. You don't know where you come from. You don't know your people. And then what they asked Jonah?
Yes.
The student must be like his teacher. The student is like the teacher. Revelation 20:4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahshua, for the word of Elohim, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. They lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. 1,000 years. We first looked at about the different ages of an age to come, of the accumulation of all the ages to get to that point. The word, the prophecies have said that the son of David will sit and reign. Well, David's dead. But if you're a Tanakh only, you're waiting on David. Or someone of David's loin. But the rest of the dead live not again until after the 1,000 years were finished. So once the 1,000 years is up, there's still stuff going on. It ain't over. So Pac told Kyle, and Kyle said, I don't want to play for you, Birdie. We'll go back and play for Coach. Pac looked at him and said, you think it's over? This ain't over. It's not over. Hebrew people. Yeshaya. Good. You know what that means? Isaiah. Got it highlighted for you. Sorry. Yeshah in green. Yeshah, that's in green, that means to what? Save. To save. And then yellow, we should all know that.
Yeah. God.
Y'all saves.
Yah.
saved.
So Yah saves. So in the book of Yah saves, somebody give me Isaiah 9, 1 through 7. Somebody give me Isaiah 11, 6 through 16, Isaiah 45, 23 through 25, and Isaiah 65, 17 through 25. In the book where Yah saves, let's see what some things that are said. Isaiah 9, 1 through 7. Go ahead and read, sir.
There is no gloom upon her who is distressed, as when at first he humbled the land of Zebulun, and the land of Naphtali.
The land of who?
Zebulun.
And the land of who?
Naphtali.
Are those Israelites?
Yes.
Go ahead, read.
And afterward more heavily oppressed by her by the way of the sea, beyond the Jordan, we delivered the land. The people who were walking in the darkness have seen a great light.
They were walking in what?
Darkness.
Walking in, is it walking in sin? Go ahead.
Upon those who dwell in the lands of the shadow of death as light has shone. You shall increase the nation. You shall make its joy great. They shall rejoice before you, as in the joy of the harvest, as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. For you shall break the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulders, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian.
Is in the day of Midian. Where do we find Midian's oppression at? Where else? Exodus, where else? What other book? Who was Gideon? Where we find Gideon at? Judges. So in the days of Midian. So how far is that? So think about, we're in Isaiah time. King Hezekiah. All going all the way back there. So when he says this, so we're looking at something comparing back then. Go ahead, sir, read.
For every root of one trampling in tumult, and coat rolled in blood, shall be used for burning and fuel of fire.
Burning and what?
Fuel of fire.
Of who?
Fire.
Fire? Was it fire?
Yes.
Fire. When Yahshua HaMashiach was on earth, did he punch anybody? Did he slap anybody? Did he do a karate kick on somebody? Did he put somebody through a table with a DDT?
No, he probably wanted to.
Read verse 5. I'm sure he did. Read verse 5 again.
For every boot of one trampling in tumult, and coat rolled in blood, shall be used for burning and fuel of fire.
That's a bad man. I don't know who that man is. But that man cold with it. Go ahead, read.
For a child is born unto us, a son is given unto us, and the rule is on his shoulder.
The what's on his shoulder?
The rule.
The rule? Go ahead.
And his name is called Wonder, Counselor, Strong El, Father of Continuity, Prince of Peace. Wow. Of this increase of his rule and peace there is no end.
There should be no what? So when it starts, there won't be no finish. Now he done came down here though, right? And he done left too, right? So that means when he come back, he's establishing the rule. He gonna be going around shaking hands, trying to get your vote, talking about don't be a Democrat, don't be a Republican, don't even be independent. He ain't coming back like that, is he? He come back with them paws. He come back with them paws, ain't he? Because he gonna have to put this government down with force. He gonna come down like a soldier. He gonna come back blood and fire everywhere. Go ahead.
Upon the throne of David and over his throne, to establish it and sustain it with right ruling and with righteousness from now on, even forever.
So when it starts, there's no end. Go ahead.
The order of Yahweh of hosts does this.
So it is Yah's will. This must be done because he said it. He will not lie. 11. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, brother.
And a wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard lie down with the young goat.
So a wolf will lie with the what?
Lamb.
So wolves eat lambs. And that's what shepherds for. That's what your staff and your rod for, is to fight the wolf off. But there's going to be a point in time where a wolf and a lamb will be at peace. Go ahead, sir. Read.
And the leopard lie down on the young goat, and the calf and the young lion, and the battling together, and a little child leads them.
So think about where baby girl at. So think about baby girl out there in the field with leopards and lions and wolves and lambs and goats, and they following her, playing like a puppet. So this government that will be instilled, it's not just for humans, it's for all creation. Amen. So when we think about Yah and we think about the bigger picture, it's not just people, it's not just the so-called Negro or the so-called scattered, it's about all of creation.
Yeah.
Go ahead, read.
And the cow and the bear shall feed. Their young ones lie down together, and a lion eats straw like an ox. And
So the lion ain't gonna be blood hungry no more. The lion ain't gonna want blood no more. Ain't gonna want meat no more. Go ahead, read.
And the nursing child shall play by the cobra's hole.
So the little what's
Ariel, Ali,
Layla. So Layla can be in a pit of snakes, and the snake just just killing and just kicking with a pit of snakes. So are we seeing what this is like? But see, the prophets told you, but then you don't believe. Because if you believe, you will change your mind, especially those of the diaspora and those around them. Go ahead.
And the weaned child Pharaoh shall put his hands on the adder's den. They do no evil nor destroy in my set apart mountain. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of Elohim. As the waters cover the seas. And in that day there shall be a root of Yeshai, standing as a banner to the people. Unto him the nation shall seek, and his rest shall be esteemed. And it shall be in that day that Elohim sets his hands again a second time to recover the remnant of his people who were left from Ashur to the Mizraim, from Pathros and from Cush.
Stop right there. He named 3 places that you will find on the continent of Africa. Go ahead.
From Elam and from Shinar, from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall raise a banner for the nations and gather the outcasts of Israel.
Will gather the who?
The outcasts of Israel.
Okay.
And assemble the dispersed of Yehuda. From the 4 corners of the earth.
From the where?
4 corners of the earth.
So the prophet is repeating Deuteronomy 32?
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess, he's under the Ruach, so he just saying is specifically what the Spirit telling him to say. So you have the house of Israel and the house of Judah, the outcasts, and those to disperse the 4 corners. I'm going to come holler at you. Go ahead.
And that envy of Ephraim shall turn aside, and the adversaries of Yehuda be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehuda, and Yehuda shall not trouble Ephraim. But they shall fly upon the shoulder of the Philistines toward the west. Together they plunder the people of the east, their hands stretching forth on Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon. They shall subject to them, and yell out.
It's all right, buddy.
What number you on?
15. Elohim shall put the tongue of the Red Sea of Mizraim, and he shall wave his hands over the river with the might of his spirit, and shall strike in the 7 streams, and shall cause men to thread in the sandals.
People gonna do what?
Thread in the sandals.
And folks gonna be walking on dry ground again?
Word dried up again.
Again?
Wow.
So what happened, the things that were written aforetime is written for y'all. So that we see the program, we see the playbook of y'all. I'ma knock your block off. I'ma come with some hard blitz every time. I'm getting you, your mama, your babies, your animals, your cars, your homes, your fields, your water system. I'm gonna bring stuff down from the Shemaim. I'm gonna bring stuff up from the ground, because I'm gonna plague the out of you. And then I'm gonna pull you out. And the only way, you'll be like the people in Goshen, if your mind is renewed in Mashiach. If not, you got a hard. Thank you, son. I know. Don't worry about it. 45. Who got Isaiah 45? Go ahead, sir.
Look to me and be saved, all the ends of the earth. For I am Yah, there is no other. In the name of myself I have sworn, for my mouth has rightly gone out a word that will not return. That to me every knee will bow and every tongue will swear.
That every what?
Knee will bow and every tongue will swear.
And he started off, he said, all ye to the ends of the earth look unto me to be saved.
Right.
But we already know the children of Israel have been dispersed where? All over the earth.
Right.
So if you want to be saved, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess. Go ahead, finish up stuff.
About me that only in Yahuwah are justice and strength. All who rage against him will come to him ashamed. All the descendants of Israel will find justice and glory in Yahuwah.
Isaiah 65. Some stuff you ain't got you ain't got to do no commentary on.
Go ahead, Karen, go ahead. 65.
Mm-hmm.
Did you lose it?
For behold, I create renewed heavens and a renewed earth, and the former shall not be remembered.
He gonna do what?
I create a renewed heaven and a renewed earth, and the former shall not be remembered.
So it's gonna be different, or it's gonna be different than from after Yahshua's Messianic 1,000-year reign. Are we seeing this? Well, how your mind gotta be changed? There's so much stuff to happen after the reign. There's gonna be new after that. Because things gotta be purified. Go ahead.
Nor come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that has not filled his days.
It's gonna be hard to mess up. Go ahead.
For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and my elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble. For they are the seed of the blessed of Yahuwah, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like a bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, says Yahuwah.
So we're seeing the prophet talk about a certain time when Messiah is sitting on the throne of David, center of Jerusalem, and the justice flows out from the throne or from the mountain, and it covers the earth like waters. Daniel 7:20-20, and the 10 horns that were in its head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows, beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, that's you, and prevailed against them, till the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and that time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So the first kingdom you got to possess is the kingdom from within, Luke chapter 17. This kingdom, right, the Ancient of Days will handle when he returns, okay? Especially for the Messianic reign. But you got to have your mind made up, and it's hard to have the kingdom of Elohim from within you if there's no Ruach. It is about Yahshua HaMashiach and how your mind must be. So it's good to know who you are, and where you come from, and where you're going. But if there's no Mashiach, if your mind is not changed in Christ, you're a dead man walking, or a dead woman walking. Is he coming back for blood? So Todar Yah, B'Shem Yahshua, we give all thanks and praise to the Most High Yah for inspiration in the scripture and opening up things to us and confirming things through from this morning and from last night. And Yah is good, and he's very good to us, and we can just give him a little bit back. But we got our websites up here, emails up here, all our contact stuff, and now podcast. Prayer line still, and Wednesday night Bible study. And we just give all praise and glory and thanks to Most High Yah for his word. With that being said, peace and shalom. We will do part 4 next Shabbat, and we will close out our Decoding the Past series.